Shut up, fool! Stop listening to atheist YouTubers.
Jesus drowned babies. Get over it.
Hey, man! This makes sense!
Yeah, that's really bad. That's really, really bad. To me, this was flagrant.
Yeah, this show is flagrant. Okay, what's this box here? Connect. Video ID. Is that this? Oh, it's this. Let's see if that works. Control C, copy, right click. Myron's supposed to be doing this, but he's on vacation at Disney World again. Put that in there. Let's see if this works. Connect. Oh, yeah. Excelente. See, I know Spanish. I'm fluent in Mexican. Excelente. Por favor. Rápido, rápido. ¿Cómo estás? Muy bien. Have I insulted the people from Mexico today? Or Spain? Or Portugal? I don't know. Where do people speak that language? Religions. What, Dr. Octagon? Religion can be fun. Fun for the whole family. Let's make this bigger. The room's open, but I haven't opened it up yet. What? I can do my own hearts? No. Now what did I do? It's not like I can do the back button, right? See, this is not good. So let's delete this. Feel free to ask me questions, tag me while we wait for Theist to come in. But let me try this one more time, because I kind of like that. Rather than screen sharing or... Okay, yeah, do that. Do that. Right click. Do that. Connect. There we go. That works. And then put me in front of that. I don't like the colors. Do you guys like the colors? Thank you, Mom. PineCreek Kitchen. Oh, and I got to go live chat. Oh, and thank you for the donation, VDub201. Thanks, dude. Enjoy the conversation. So I'm glad you enjoy it, VDub. And you know what the Joker said in Batman. If you're good at something, never do it for free. It's great advice. Logging out sucks because you got to log back in on 3 devices. Now, I only use one device, a desktop. I'm at home all the time, so I don't need a phone. I still haven't bought my Glock. No, I haven't. I don't know why. Yeah, let me, can we change colors on this thing? Color. Opacity. What does that do? Oh, yeah, I like that. And then we've got to change this color. No, that's font. Layout, effects. I don't know. How does that look? Does that look better? It's still a little small, right? We love you, PineCreek. Who's we? Who are these we people you speak of, Rory? And you know I don't like it when people love me. I like it more when people hate me. It's way more fun. Love is... Oh, see, I tapped on my desk, and my German Shepherd named Adolf is so sensitive that it thinks it's a Christian at the door and starts barking. Adolf! Knock it down. Knock it off. See? He's... That's a joke, okay? My dog loves Christians because my wife's a Christian, and my dog loves my wife. Curls up to her next to her bed. How do you reply to someone in chat? Do I have to go at and type the full name? Yes, do the at symbol. And, okay, I'll open up whereby, because who knows, there could be somebody there now. So yeah, shift number 7 on your keyboard. Yeah, Hitler, he ruined that name, Adolf, for everyone. It's actually not a bad name. It's just... No. 1911 is not a gun joke. I started at my time 11:11, and that's the time of that I always see on the clock. I'm particularly shiny today. Yeah, that's because Myron usually does my makeup. Where did PineCreek get his education from? What credibility does he have to talk about these things? Ask the American Cuban. What things am I talking about? What credentials do I need to just to sit here and read a live stream chat? But my credentials, I have 2 master's degrees, 1 bachelor's degree in science, analytical chemistry master's, MBA in finance master's. Oh, and just in case Kenny's listening, I was a true Christian for 30 years or so. I was a true Christian. Yeah, baby. I've been trying to get my uncle to call for weeks. He's a Calvinist. I did get him to watch the Joe episode, and he called you evasive. What? Called me evasive? That's rude. Does your wife pray that you return to Christianity? I'm sure she does. But she hasn't told me in a while. I haven't asked her. Yeah, VDub, too bad your uncle won't call in. I specialize in Calvinists. They're my favorite snack. But ask your uncle how I was evasive. Maybe if he's too scared to come on, have him write me a list of 10 questions and I'll answer it directly. I would love if a theist would call in and role play as an atheist. Now that would be fun. I bet you a lot of theists couldn't do it. Couldn't role play as an atheist. I role play as a Christian, and then have a conversation. There is no specific topic today, Rory. It's just people can call in and talk about whatever they want to talk about. I could throw some things out there. Like I made a video of William Lane Craig recently. For some reason, Christians just can't get it out of their head that just maybe the New Testament is not all historical narrative. I mean, that just throws them for a loop. If you want to cut Christians down at the knees, you let them know, A, that their personal experiences of the Holy Spirit may just be psychology, and B, that the New Testament is mostly mytho-history. Let's put it that way. Mytho-history. Now, yes, there's real people, real places, but it's mostly a story. Oh, by the way, I made a short yesterday for atheists who are also NBA fans. Remember that Ivan Alvin Iverson video where he's talking about practice. And I just changed it to stories and evidence. And that's the thing with Christians, a lot of fundamentalists at least, they just, well, if the Bible says it, then we got a historical narrative. And if you don't accept it, then we got to throw away all history. No, you don't throw away all history. But if I told you that in a historical, in quotes, book, it says that a man flew unaided, just flew around the sky, you wouldn't believe it. Even if it was attested to 5 times, you wouldn't believe it. Even if there's prophecies about it from an even older book that you kind of have to interpret to get there, but you still wouldn't believe it. Even if that there was a following and people changed their minds and even enemies of it, and they were willing to die for their belief in the flying man, you still wouldn't believe it, I don't think. And if you would believe it, you would believe it, I think, just because you want to be consistent with your Christianity. Because all that stuff can be made up. Allen Iverson, yeah. What did I say? Alvin? Sorry, I apologize. We're talking about practice. Did you guys see that one? Maybe I can bring it up right now. So far, I didn't get any copyright strikes on it. That's fun. Or, yeah, not copyright strikes, but... This is only funny to NBA fans and atheists. Okay, hang on.
Oh, the stories. I know it's important. I do. I honestly do. But we talking about the stories, man. What are we talking about? The stories. We talking about the stories, man. We talking about the stories. We talking about the stories. We ain't talking about evidence. We talking about the stories, man. When you come in the arena and you see me play, don't you?
Absolutely.
You see me give everything I got, right?
Absolutely.
But we talking about the stories right now.
But it's an issue that you're
We talking about,
to raise.
man, I hear you. It's funny to me too. I mean, it's strange to me too. But we talking about the stories, man. We're not even talking about evidence, the actual evidence, when it matters. We talking about the stories. I know it's important. I do.
What
I honestly
Allen
do.
Iverson
But we
thinks
talking
about the Bible.
the stories,
Yeah.
man. What?
That's funny to me. That's why I do these sort of things, because it makes myself laugh. Oh, Mom. Thank you, Mom, for the donation. $4.99 for PineCreek Kitchen. My mom, she makes mean pierogies. I mean, so good. Can you still man the flat earth argument as a philosopher who is being embarrassed by his colleagues about his beliefs and his suit is too small? Why isn't the super chats coming up on here? Or will it maybe? Maybe it's just behind. Hang on, Dr. Octagon Pine doing insane editing. Where's that? Yeah, see, the super chat's not showing up on the big screen here. I mean, on this one. But I see it, don't worry. I'm confused. If I want to steel man the flat earth argument, that's assuming I'm not a flat earther, but I'm steel manning it. But you're saying as a philosopher who's being embarrassed by his colleagues about his beliefs, which makes it sound like the philosopher is a flat earther. But I can be a flat earther. In fact, I'm not even going to role play here. Listen. Well, no, hang on. I'm thinking of something else. Yeah, I have to role play on this one. You have to admit, you spherical people. I'm thinking of fat people now. You have to admit that the earth does appear flat. And so if you are a person who cannot go way up high in the sky and see with their own eyes that the world is spherical shaped, you would come to the conclusion that the earth is flat. right? Now, PineCreek, I've listened to PineCreek once in a while, and he'll say, I'm not going to believe in Christianity unless I see with my own eyes someone raised from the dead, a water soaked napkin light on fire. This is me as a flat earther. I mean, I need to see if someone could take me up miles and miles up into the sky and I look down and I see a ball, then I'll believe. Until that day, you got nothing. You got stories of people telling you that they're spherical. You got stories of people telling you they went up into a spacecraft and saw the Earth a sphere. You got stories. That's all you have. Which is not true, but that's, I think, the best I can steelman the flat earther. But I can do better with the moon landing. Because let's say you are a hyper irrational type skeptic. There is no way you can provide evidence for a person like that they can do themselves to say, yes, we definitively landed on the moon. With the flat earth, you can say, okay, show me the model you think is working, and it's usually a flat plate with a sun going around like this. You can do things like go to the South Pole, watch a shadow go around a pole, which only can be explained by a spherical shape, not a flat earth. You can dig very small holes and measure the sun angle coming in. And the same time of day, longitudinal, you'll see different angles, which you wouldn't see under flat earth model. So things like that. But with the moon landing, think about it. If someone doesn't believe NASA, doesn't believe people who work for the space program, doesn't believe astronauts, how in the world would you convince them that we actually landed on the moon? Especially when we do know some of the stuff was faked on purpose for publicity, so they can use that, say, see, like the picture's doctored and that sort of thing. Video made on Earth, prior, that sort of thing. You can't. Well, there's one way. Me and my friends were talking about this the other day. I think there is a mirror on the moon. And the only way you could do it is if you give someone a very expensive laser and they know exactly the location and they point the laser to that and they can actually see the beam come back. But that's like next to impossible for someone to verify for themselves. Yeah, Matthew Robinson, I didn't see your comment when I said that, but yeah, that's the only way a person could actually verify and demonstrate to themselves that we landed on the moon, is maybe that mirror. But other than that, it's all just trusting people. And if you don't trust people, I don't think there's any way you could convince someone. Uh-oh. How did we... M. Fiskew, NASA admits on the government website that the Earth is non-rotating and flat. Do you have a link? I would love to see that. There is no mirror? Okay, maybe if there's no mirror, then I would make the claim that would be absolutely no way to convince someone who is hyper skeptical that we landed on the moon. Like with the spherical Earth, we can actually take an individual and run experiments, and that they could actually see, yeah, okay, I'm now convinced. But with the moon landing, no, I don't think there's any way, because you basically have to trust the testimony, which ties it into, let's say, the Bible or the Quran. I just don't think a spherical Earth is an extraordinary claim, or the moon landing is more of an no, is it more of an extraordinary claim? It's getting up there for the 60s. The best argument that we never land on the moon is that, like, if we wanted to do it tomorrow, or within the next 12 months, extremely difficult even with our own technology. The feather and the hammer drop, the little pictures from the moon. No, you're not going to convince someone. Just they can always say that the pictures are not authentic. Kennedy assassination is another one that's pretty hard to, in quotes, prove one way or the other. The basic argument would have to be, you would have to strip down the implications. Like if you're willing to think of the absolute worst of your government, then it's pretty easy to say, yeah, JFK was assassinated by the CIA. Same with 9/11. If you're willing to imply the worst of your own government, then it's very easy to say, yeah, it was all rigged. And that all those pictures you see of planes and stuff. If we had a time machine, we could solve so many problems. They can say that, but then they're just being dishonest. Which reminds me, I saw in my comment section the other day that, the room's open, by the way. I saw in my comment section that people calling William Lane Craig dishonest. I don't think William Lane Craig is dishonest. When he was talking about the minimal facts on Capturing Christianity's channel, I think he truly believes what he says. In fact, let me put up a poll here. Stating false information how am I going to word this? Stating false info is the same as lying. Okay, so vote on that poll. Dr. Craig is dishonest when he represents his opponent's views. Can you give me a specific example? You might be right. But like with the, I don't think Kennedy was assassinated by the CIA, but it would not surprise me if he were. It would surprise me if the Earth is flat. That would surprise me. It would not surprise me as much. No, it would, yeah, it would surprise me if we never landed on the moon. Which one would surprise me more? Probably the moon, yeah. Because that's a pretty big conspiracy. Okay, see this is amazing to me. Let me screen capture this. We got 54 votes already. %31% of you are just flat out wrong so far. And I'm so glad you're here. I'm not saying this to offend you. I don't want to condescend, but please consider the following. That someone can be wrong and say something false and not be lying. Stating false information is not the same as lying. In order to lie, you have to know the truth and purposely deceive people by saying that it's not the truth. Being wrong, stating false information, is not lying. And you see politicians throw that word around. You see just people in everyday life accusing people, like, let's say, William Lane Craig as being dishonest and lying. But stating false information is not the same as lying. Lying involves intent, deception. If someone truly, truly, truly believes that the earth is flat, and they say the earth is flat, and you could get into their psyche and know that they have no motive, no intent to mislead, they are not lying. They're stating something that's not true. That's why you should always be careful to accuse someone of lying, because what you're doing there is you are saying, I've gotten inside their head, or that you have evidence of something so recent of them stating the contrary, that then you can say that they know the truth and they're purposely saying the opposite. But even people change their mind over time, right? So even then you can't be certain. Someone can say, I believe the earth is flat, and then change their mind, become a spherical earther, and then state their earth is flat. Now they're lying. If they believe the earth is a sphere and they state it's flat. But let's say a year prior, if they said the same thing, then they wouldn't be lying. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So when you're in the comment section of my YouTube channel and you start accusing apologists of being liars or dishonest, ask yourself the question, have you gotten inside their head to know if that's really true? Or do you have strong evidence that says, just last week they said this and now they're saying this, which is opposites. They know the truth. I know they know the truth because they stated it here, here, and here. And now they're saying something that's opposite of that. So therefore, I have good reason to think they're lying. Unless you say something like that, okay. But if it's just if you're just saying they're stating something that's false, that is not lying. Stating something false is not lying. It can be, but it's not always. You're welcome. You're very, very welcome that you now know that. I see Pirate, you know how to answer your own question. What about faith healers? Are they knowingly lying? Answer your own question based on what I just said. So you should be sitting and closing your eyes and you should be saying to yourself, well, if there is a faith healer that truly believes that when they say in the name of Jesus, that God can heal and sometimes does heal, and that they're commanded to at least try, then you would have to say this particular faith healer is not dishonest and not lying. You can't say that they're wrong or they're deceived or that they're misled. So please, I beg of you, stop accusing people of lying unless you have very strong evidence to the contrary. Like, I don't know how the arrogance it takes to accuse someone of lying. You're basically saying, I'm inside their brain right now and I know that they're being deceptive. People can be mistaken. People can truly believe false things. And that does not make them liars or dishonest. William Lane Craig constantly states that cosmologists claim something came from nothing. He knows that's not true. I actually have not heard William Lane Craig make that claim that something came from nothing. That cosmologists say that. Now, I have heard him say that something came from nothing, but does he say cosmologists say that? And to be fair, it depends how you define nothing, because Lawrence Krauss does say that. that our universe came from nothing, right? So he's at least right with Lawrence Krauss. But again, it comes down to definition of nothing, because Lawrence Krauss doesn't call nothing. I think the idea of nothing to Lawrence Krauss and the idea of nothing to William Lane Craig are two different things. I think the problem is when people like Dr. Craig is they claim to uphold the truth, but they can't get the facts straight. Okay, but then there's a difference between being biased and incompetent than purposely getting the facts wrong. Like when he misrepresented Bart Ehrman's credentials. Yeah, what did he say? Are you referring to that? No, I actually don't know where he's misrepresented Bart Ehrman's credentials. Room's open, by the way. I've heard him say that secular people believe the universe popped into existence out of nothing. Well, David Newton, to be fair, there's probably some people who do believe that, right? Now, if you've heard William Lane Craig say that every atheist, every secular person says that the universe popped out of nothing, then I think you would have a stronger case. Hey, Rory, it's been a while since you've been here. You got to turn off your YouTube.
I know. Okay. Do you think that time machines are going to be invented sometime in the future?
No. I think time machines are contradictory.
Yeah, they would be contradictory because you can't really change the past, can you?
In fact, if time machines were a possibility, we would already have them, because anybody in the future would have probably come back to the past to give a time machine to us already.
Yeah, there are people who claim that, but I think it's all just fake stories.
Yeah, and it's not just paradoxes. Time machines just literally create contradictions.
Yeah.
Did you want to come in to talk about time machines? Are you still a Christian?
Yeah.
You are?
Yeah.
Because we've had some talks about this, right?
Yeah. But about time machines.
No, about you being a Christian, and I thought I pulled you towards hell by now. No? You're still going to heaven?
Hell. Why not?
Well, tell everybody what type of Christian you are.
I say non-denom.
Non-denominational.
Yeah.
You believe the Bible is inerrant, perfect, Word of God?
Inspired word of God.
You believe that everything that it claims to be true is true?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're not a progressive Christian then. You're more fundamental.
Well, not quite. But
What are you thinking right now? You're looking to the side. You look like you're in deep thought. Are you nervous?
Yeah. This is my nervous. First time in a long time I've been here.
Okay. Well, that's okay to be a little nervous. Do you want me to just ask you short, simple questions?
No, it's okay.
Can you role play as an atheist for me?
I would say no.
No?
Because I'm not in the thought of an atheist, but I could say, what makes you think the Quran is true?
I don't think the Quran is true in its core propositions. There's probably some things in there that's true, but
Yeah.
Why do you think the Bible's true?
Well, because of hmm, you got me thinking.
That's a simple question.
But I thought I was supposed to be role playing as an atheist. And you as a
Oh,
Muslim.
sorry. So you do want to do it? Okay. So you be an atheist, and I'll be a Christian. Okay. So I'm going to ask you a question. Why do you believe our universe popped into existence out of nothing? Why do you believe that, you silly atheist?
We don't believe that.
You don't believe that? Now you're lying to me. What do you believe, Mr. Atheist Rory, sir? If the universe didn't pop into existence out of nothing, then where did it come from?
Well, a Big Bang.
Where did the Big Bang come from?
Now you got me thinking about the atheist position. I don't want to strawman the atheist position.
Good for you. What do you think an atheist like me would say to that question?
I'm not sure. Maybe you could tell me.
So you don't know what I would say, or some other atheists?
Yeah.
You sincerely don't know? Okay. I would say, if you as a Christian would ask me where did the Big Bang come from, I would say, well, we really don't know, because at the singularity, if it existed, the temperature is so high, the laws of physics break down, even our concept of time kind of goes out the window. What is time really? Is time always moving forwards? But the main thing is, atheists like myself, many would say that the cosmos, not just our reality, but everything in quotes prior to the Big Bang, there could be material existence of some sort, whether it's just quantum energy, quantum fluctuations, that has always existed, eternal past. But even the phrase eternal past might not even make sense, because, again, what is time? So I think it is far more reasonable to believe that the universe has always existed in some way, form, than to believe that a God like the God you believe in existed eternally, because I'm not inventing a new category of existence that's called spiritual or soulish or disembodied mind. I'm not creating this weird new dimension of reality, but you are.
Okay.
Have you ever heard that type of answer before?
No, but I did heard atheists say they don't know, but not the answer you gave me.
What do you think of that answer I just gave you?
It's a deep thought, really. Deep.
Do you think it is reasonable to believe that the material in some form has always existed, rather than this new concept of spiritualness has always existed?
I need to think about that.
Because you and I both agree that, the physical exists, right?
Yeah, I agree.
So we, atheists and theists can come together and say, yeah, the physical exists. There's some anti-realists out there, but we don't really worry about them. But we don't agree that the spiritual exists.
Yeah, I do believe the spiritual exists, and you don't.
Yeah. So I would say almost everybody on the planet believes the material exists, but not everybody on the planet believes the spiritual exists. So I would say that my belief that the material exists is a very properly basic belief that we all share, or most of us share. But your spiritualness, this idea of a mind outside of a body that exists outside of time, outside of space, kind of really doesn't make sense, and it's not a properly basic belief. It's almost like something that's layered on top of what I believe, like as a part of imagination.
All right, PineCreek. I'll let other people come in now because I really have to have my meds.
Okay. Okay. I hope you don't need your meds based on what I've said.
No. It's my depression meds.
Oh, okay. So your depression is it pretty bad right now?
And better because of the meds.
Okay, go take your meds. Wish you all the best.
Okay, God, science bless.
There you go. Great job. Yeah, Rory called in, I don't know, a year ago. It's weird because I'm not sure, but I think he was a little more antagonistic towards me, pushing back a little more against me. And now he seems like very nice. David. We are body, soul, and spirit. How do you know that? Because you felt something? Because a book says so? How do you know? You're welcome, Dungeon Chunks. Last time he was on, it was hilarious. I don't actually remember the specifics of the last time he was on. I thought only atheists would be depressed because they have nothing to live for. What do you mean? I got lots to live for. I got a son, a daughter, a wife, 2 sisters, a mom and dad. I have you guys. But David, I'd believe in a soul if certain demonstrable experiments turned out a certain way. Like, it's actually pretty easy to test disembodied minds. Well, I shouldn't say easy, but it's very conceivable how you would do it. Kill people for a week, bring them back to life, and then run tests while they're dead. Icy Pirate, take that back. I always want to ask theists, why do they feel like it's such an urgent question? They obviously don't feel the need of urgently debate other philosophical issues. It always comes back to hell. Yeah, how do you define a soul? It's always defined as what it's not rather than what it is. It's the spiritual that proves it right, but you won't look at this angle. I would love to explore that with you, Joe P. Why don't you hop on? I am totally open to the spiritual existing. I just need evidence of it. And what I don't view as evidence is when people say, I heard a voice. V-dub? Oh, V-dub, you just donated to me, right? Are you there, V-dub? I can't hear you. Hey, let's say
Doug.
Yes, V-dub.
Oh, there we go, buddy. Sorry about that.
No
Had
problem.
a little microphone issue. I did donate.
Yeah, well, thank you very much.
Hey, I just had a question. Do you even think it's worth talking to your overly religious family members? I know, like, you're married and you say your wife is still like a practicing Christian. Is it even worth it? Like, my whole family is my uncle's Calvinist, my mom's a Baptist, my dad's side's Catholic, and you know,
Oh,
it
I would
doesn't
love to
seem.
be in your family. I would just cause so much division and strife among them.
Well, my wife's side is Catholic as well. Really, really conservative Catholic. Um, so it's just very interesting. They all know that I'm an atheist, but they don't. It's rarely brought up. Me and my uncle discuss it, but that's about it.
It's not worth you initiating. It might be worth. It is worth it answering their questions.
The
So
problem is, it seems like they don't want to ask. You know? Like
yes,
they.
I was just about to say that. A lot of theists, well, actually, just humans in general, really suck at asking good questions. Because what they end up doing is they just end up preaching, or they just talk and say claim after claim, assumption after assumption. But to get a human being to learn how to ask short, one sentence questions about deep topics is very difficult. And and without using the word and loaded with all these assumptions. But you could start the conversation by saying something very simple like, do you have any questions for me about atheism?
Well, I would address the questions, and then, it would just be like my uncle, for example, the Calvinist, just does not believe science is actually, a thing at all. And it just goes nowhere, basically. It's just,
What does he do for a living?
he's a carpenter, actually, funny enough.
So he has to appreciate math, which is
Yeah,
the foundation
yeah.
for all science.
Well, he puts science in this different kind of category. I tried to explain to him, like, the reason we have cell phones and computers and all of this great stuff is because of scientific advancement and just humans
Just
figuring
talk
stuff out,
just
you
talk
know?
about carpenter. You said he was a carpenter, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, just talk about carpentry and say, okay, does he build houses or what does he build?
Yeah, yeah. He's a finisher now, but he started off building houses and
So ask him how he would come up with a new roof design that's stronger, more durable than, let's say, the current rafter system we have. And just watch his brain think. Like, say, here's a challenge. If I was to pay you $1 million, or someone pay you $1 million to come up with a radical new roof design, how would you go about it? And he will start talking about experimentation, load weights, testing, and then you just sit back and say, "Hey, Dad," or is it your dad, your uncle, whoever?
uncle, close
Say,
enough.
"Hey,
Yeah.
Uncle, you're doing science right now. You're coming
But
up
then
with
he'll say, "Oh,
hypothesis.
that's
You're
not
testing."
science," He'll find some way to justify it I it's hard to explain. Like I said, I've been trying to get him to call you for like weeks, man, but
Did
won't
he
do it.
did he tell you why I was being evasive?
No, he said he was taking notes. That's all he told me, is that he
Oh,
had a whole page of notes to give me. So I'm really excited to go over it. But and your 10-minute, you had a 10-minute conversation that I think I showed it to him possibly, but it was the flying man thought experiment, and
oh, I'm
he
sure he
just
loved
didn't.
that one.
He wasn't even able to he wasn't even. He doesn't look at it as a thought. He doesn't even know what a thought experiment is. Like, I don't know.
So what you're saying is your uncle's stupid.
I mean, I didn't say that.
No, he's
But
probably not stupid, but he's so ingrained in the religion that he can't see outside of it.
and my goal isn't even to like push him away from it or anything. I just want him to. He just scoffs at me as if I'm the irrational one in the situation.
Don't fight
And
back
that's
against that. Just let him believe that. It's always good. I know it's tough, especially if you're a young man, but if people think the least of you, it's nothing but upside. This is a trick that a lot of people, young men especially, forget. They want to push back. No, I'm the reasonable one. You're the irrational. No, just let them think whatever they want to think about you, and then you're going to say eventually something that's going to resonate with them, and they go, oh, wait a minute, maybe V-Dub isn't stupid. I mean, isn't irrational. He's making a good point here. That's going to happen, and then that's going to cause even more cognitive dissonance in them.
Just let them. You said something to the effect in one video I was watching to just how you communicate so effectively is just to let them say their falsehoods and just let it and just keep going, and that's how you're able to.
Yeah, and repeat it back to them so they can hear themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time here, man. I really stumbled on your channel probably about a month ago. I really been getting into atheist content for about a year, and I found Matt Dillahunty was first after watching Dawkins 6 years ago or something. But I really enjoy your approach with talking with theists and just anyone in general. It's really good, man. It really is.
Or text your uncle right now, and maybe he'll have a free 15 minutes or so, and you can call in.
I text him every Thursday and say, Doug's live right now, man.
Maybe he is listening right now. Hey, Uncle,
Hopefully.
you're not stupid. I was just joking around. I mean, you're a carpenter. You know how to do math and stuff. You're doing real good things for society, like tangible things, houses that people can live and create a home in. Like, I respect that. I'm a blue collar guy who's a white collar, but in profession. But I love the blue collar types. But maybe you're a white collar guy because you have your own crew and stuff. And I love entrepreneurs. We got so much in common, Mr. Uncle of VDub, sir. Call in right now, and I tell you, we're gonna laugh together. We're gonna cry together. We're gonna understand each other, and who knows? Maybe you'll bring me into the kingdom.
Hey, can I leave you with one last question here?
Okay.
I just had a daughter a year and a half ago, and so I'm experiencing fatherhood and stuff. That's been really fun.
Mhm.
How would you go about? Have you taught I don't know how old your daughter is, but have you taught her street epistemology and all this fun stuff, or
My daughter's 20 now. Have I taught her street epistemology? Not really, but I model it for her. So she, I think, knows it intuitively now.
Cool.
And so yeah, how old? Yeah,
Year and a half, so just
Yeah.
getting started here.
just getting started. I would just start teaching your daughter as she grows older to ask short, simple questions and never, ever be scared to ask questions.
All right. Well, I
Yeah.
appreciate it, Doug.
Okay, take care.
Bye.
Yeah, you like that, Michael? By the way, Michael took home a nice pot at poker night last night. If you guys play poker, you can email me at my DLL1671@Yahoo. And if you pass all the background checks from the Wichita home office, you're free to join the elite home group of poker players. No, we're just a bunch of guys who have fun. We need more women, though. I mean, we lost our token female. Michael, I'm sure, said something that was offensive to her, and she left. So we need more token females. Zach. There you are. Make sure your YouTube thing is turned off. And it's just the whereby. What does your shirt say?
Elite FTS.
What is that, FTS?
It's a powerlifting company.
Ah, you're a strong guy.
No.
Okay.
In comparison, no. But
Well, I can see your forearms. You remind me of a lot of farmers I grew up with.
so I want to call in and see if you have ever talked to your wife or any other Christians about aliens.
I haven't talked to my wife about aliens. Have I talked to other Christians? No, not recently. Why do you ask?
Because the recent Congress hearing thing that just happened,
Mm-hmm.
it was like the two pilots and I forgot who the other guy was, but they were sworn under oath and made a pretty big hoopla and testimony. I watched it with my wife, who's a Christian, and she was giving all the reasons that basically atheists would give for like the,
Oh, really?
Testament. Yeah, like
That's interesting.
every other explanation besides it actually happened.
So your wife feels like there's a theological problem if aliens do exist, right?
That's what I would assume.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
So she's coming up with reasons to disbelieve in aliens. What sort of things did she say?
she thinks that they're mistaken by what they saw. She thinks that they had a real experience, but it wasn't actually aliens. So it's, and I wanted to, make that comparison, but kind of like, I guess, with your wife, like if you bring that up, it's just like an explosion.
No, okay, but this is how you do it, Zach. When your wife says, okay, these Air Force guys, they had a true experience, you just repeat back to her with a little smirk on your face. Are you saying they had an experience of something that their attribution was false?
No, I've done that before. She knows exactly what I'm doing.
I know. It's fun though, right? She knows what you're doing.
She hates it. It gets into a fight every time.
Really?
Yeah. She's pretty sensitive about it.
Yeah, that's why you have her call into the PineCreek show, and I'll help her become more dead inside.
Yeah. I've already tried that.
Oh, that didn't go over well, did it?
Well, she aligns with you politically, and I was like, you should listen to his politics channel. You agree a lot with what he says. And she actually did listen to a little bit of it and didn't get too turned off, and but yeah, I thought it was interesting the comment she was making towards testimony under oath, and then the New Testament.
Yeah, see, and that's what I was talking about earlier, the difference between saying something that's not true and lying, because I think, they're testifying under oath, so they're not lying, but that doesn't mean they're telling the truth.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, it's alien life here on Earth, whether they've, crashed and we have bodies or whatever. That's a pretty big claim, pretty extraordinary claim, and I need extraordinary evidence. So I just don't take the testimony of a couple of pilots or even 200 pilots. I would need to, if the claim is that there's extraterrestrial life that's dead, but we got a body, I need to see it. Or I need 5 different news organizations all around the world to come in, doctors, scientists come in, videotape live. But I'd still prefer to see it with my own eyes.
Yeah, and that was one of the claims, is that they have a body, and of course when they try to dig into specifics, he had to revert to, he can't discuss this, but behind closed doors he can, which is, and
most of the pictures, you can tell they're either doctored or they're always grainy and always dark. And I mean, if we have a spaceship that they think is from another star or planet system, solar system, put it on the White House Mall area, like at the Capitol, and invite people to go touch it, see it. They got bodies, put it in a jar, big jar, and have people come see it. And then, but even then, you got to ask yourself, well, can't humans make this? You need some type of evidence that humans can't make, can't duplicate, can't fool people. Mm. The best evidence for alien life, if they've come in a spaceship, is if it's broken, fix the spaceship, and let's go back to where they came from, and go with them.
Yeah, one of the questioners had a good comment. He was like, these aliens that can travel across galaxies, but when they get to Earth, they're too incompetent to, fly around, and it's like it just doesn't add up. But even if it were true, like, it wouldn't have that big of an impact in, like, my view, because I have nothing really riding on it. Like, I don't, like, as an atheist, there's really nothing.
When did all this happen? Like,
what, like the testimony?
What they're testifying about? When did that happen?
Oh, it's like 2 days ago.
No. Like they're testifying about the past. When did that
Oh.
past happen?
The Fravor thing, that was, I want to say, like over 5 years ago.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Here's my question: why are they testifying about it now?
Because apparently they've been told to hush hush, and the government's behind it.
I know, but they could have done that 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Why now?
As persecution, they're afraid for their family, and they're speaking about it now because they feel like they need to tell the public.
I don't know. To me, I get suspicious of the timing of these things. Like, it's like, why, why now? Is there something they're trying to, the government trying to divert us from thinking about?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I don't.
And to me, that's a reasonable thing to say. That's not a conspiracy type thinking.
Yeah.
It's just, you just ask simple questions like this. Like, this could have been talked about years ago. Well, I guess it was, but not in Congress.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. If you have another Christian on, see if what they think or what they say.
Yeah. To me, this is like similar to the Shroud of Turin. It's like crazy talk.
But if it, I mean, if it were true, I guess what would be your thoughts? Like if you, I guess, began.
I honestly am not opposed to it. It would be exciting, and I'm not scared of aliens.
Yeah.
Like, it would be amazing, but it's a huge, huge claim, and the only evidence we have is talking.
Do you think something is out there that just hasn't been visited us?
Probably, yeah. But I actually think if it's biological and not demons like Hugh Ross says, then we're so far apart that you would have to live, 1 billion years old to actually make that travel.
Yeah. And Jesus would be back by then, so.
Yeah, so why waste our time with this stuff?
Yeah. All right, well, that's all I got.
Okay, see you, Zach.
See ya.
It would be a cheap way to make the U.S. seem powerful to other countries. We have alien tech, wink, wink. Oh, yeah, this is like the Avengers coming true. The whistleblowers clause only came into effect recently. That's why now. Okay. What's the whistleblowers clause? It's just a way to protect whistleblowers. What is it, a new law? Especially for whistleblowers? Like, the U.S. public, in my opinion, should just give these claims the middle finger until they show us the money. Let me put it even in a stronger way. We should purposely gaslight those who say it's true until they show us the evidence for the whole world to see. Gaslight them until we see the money for ourselves. Don't show me Tic Tacs on the screen going back and forth. Oh, Doug, you can't say that. Don't gaslight people. That's mean. Well, we're all thinking it, right? Not all, but most of us don't believe it's true. Well, I hope so. Because you shouldn't believe extraordinary claims with terrible evidence. Yeah, it's a protection act to protect whistleblowers. Okay. That makes sense. But, like, we we know throughout history people have taken advantage of things like this to get attention, to sell books, to get airtime, to make money. Isn't that a more reasonable explanation? Like, and again, maybe they did see something that was weird, but that doesn't mean it's aliens from another solar system 500 million light years away. Good luck explaining to aliens how we got Bill from William. Yeah. Maybe the aliens do exist and came to planet Earth and they died when they just saw how crazy we are. Room is open for theists to call in. I know there's theists. Well, actually, I don't know. I assume. Let's start a poll. I am a atheist, theist, confused. Let's see what we got here. The experiences can always be real, but that doesn't mean their attribution is true or correct. I very rarely doubt people's experiences, because we all have experiences, right? Some of them are weird. Some of them are very easily explained. Others not. But when a Christian says to me, I know the Holy Spirit's real because I experienced X, that's when I go, not so fast. Okay, so we have at least 35 theists in here right now. But just to be clear, if you're a pantheist, I hate you. Go away. I'm being hyperbolic. But don't call in if you just want to say, everything is God, we're all part of God. God lives within all of us. I mean, I just feel like throwing up. I want a real Christian, a real Muslim, a real Jew. I haven't had a Jew in a while. I haven't had a Jew in a while. I love the Jews. I haven't had a Hindu forever. Come on, Hindus. What's wrong with you? I want a real believer in Ganesh, Vishnu. What's the god with all the arms? Is that Ganesh? Pantheism isn't theism. Yeah, it's, well, it's a hybrid. Well, I know there's Hindus in my live stream chat once in a while. But no real Hindu theists have called in, I think. Well, when I say real, I mean oftentimes they're atheists now. They used to believe some stuff. Pantheism is sexed up atheism. Yeah, pantheism is for scared atheists. I don't want to call myself an atheist. This feels too icky, so I'll call myself a pantheist. Come on. Don't be scared. Just be an atheist already. Yeah, pantheism is for cowards. Hey, all you pantheists out there. I'm going to treat you like Marty McFly. Ganesh's elephant head. Isn't there a really beautiful Hindu goddess? Like if Jesus was a hot female, I might have stayed in Christianity a little longer. Can you imagine if Jesus looked like Angelina Jolie in her prime? Sophia Loren? Can you imagine Sophia Loren in her prime looking you in the eyes and saying, I died for you, baby? I mean, now that's worthy of worship. I mean, a guy worshiping another guy, I just can't get into that. I am pure hetero. Yeah, I think it's Kali. Or is it Krishna? I don't know. Satan's doing fine. You know, the more I get to know Satan, the more I realize just how much Satan is a god of integrity. If there's Christians listening right now, then I got a challenge for you. Find for me within your holy text, the Bible, an example where Satan lied or deceived. Purposely. I taught you guys the definition of lying earlier. And even show me an example where Satan has hurt someone in the Bible. I know what the examples you're going to give, but I got to retort to that as well. So if you're a Christian or a Jew, now I don't think this applies to Jews as much. Tell me why Satan is the bad guy. Because God said so? But I want examples, demonstrable evidence within your holy book. I'll grant it's in your holy book. I'll accept that evidence for now. Yeah, I know people are going to mention Job, but you got to remember, God gave his seal of approval on that one, right? Satan was just the messenger. Satan was just... God basically told Satan to do what he did to Job's family. He said, do whatever you want, just don't kill Job. But you can kill his family. I mean, who's the bad guy in that story? It's not Job. It's not Satan. Well, Doug, the Job story didn't happen in history. I'm a progressive Christian, and we laugh at those fundamentalist Christians who believe that actually happened. Everything has to be looked through the lens of Christ, and all that bad stuff in the Old Testament just poof goes away. The man in charge says he was a murderer from the beginning. He does not stand. Whoa, ho, 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 ho. Man in charge. Give me an example of Satan murdering on his own free will. Can't use the Job one because he was under the orders of God. But Peter said, Ananias, why has Satan filled your heart? That's just a claim that Satan filled the heart to lie to the Holy Spirit and keep back part of the... Do you have clear evidence that Satan was behind that? Just because Peter says it, or who said it? Yeah, Peter. What if Peter was wrong? What if God was the cause of Ananias and Sapphira withholding back their tithes in order to show, for morally sufficient reasons, a lesson? And Peter was mistaken. You think of the story about when Satan and Jesus went to the desert and Satan tempted Jesus. Everything Satan said during that conversation was true. Right? Even in the garden, surely you will not die if you eat of this fruit. What Satan meant was you're not going to die on the spot. You're not going to physically die on the spot. Surely you will not die. If someone says that to you, like, here's a piece of fruit. Well, God said if I eat that fruit, I'll surely die. And Satan says, if you eat that fruit, you're not going to surely die. I think any reasonable person would know that that means take a bite and you die. Well, they took the bite, they didn't die. Satan was right. But that's a spiritual death. God was talking about spiritual death, you see. It just amazes me, Doug, how you don't know the scriptures. You're like a child suckling at your mother's breast. You're so infantile in your knowledge of the word. How many people did Satan kill in the Bible? How many people did God kill in the Bible? I rest my case. Well, when God does it, it's justice, Doug. It's justice. When Satan does it, it's immoral, just by definition. Because everything good is the outflowing of God's nature. Anything bad is contrary to the outflowing of God's nature. So anything Satan does that goes against God's nature is bad. When God kills and floods the world, that's good. When he kills people in Sodom and Gomorrah, that's good. That's justice. The Canaanites, the Amalekites, the Midianites, the Mennonites. It's all good to kill the Mennonites if God says so. Christians, I know you're listening. You're chomping at the bit to want to come in and talk. Listen to the Holy Spirit. Follow the prompting. Press that button now. I sound like an infomercial. I think there's a YouTube video on how many people God has killed. I think it's in the hundreds of millions over history. And for Satan, even if you give Satan the Job story, what is it? How many people did Satan kill in Job's family? Was it 6 or something? And then you got God admitting that he deceives people. Or at least the scriptures. Christians, did you know that? Let me see if I can bring it up. Definitely God hardens people's hearts. Yeah. This is 2 Thessalonians 2, NIV version. You scroll down here a little bit. The coming of the lawless one will be in accordance with how Satan works. He will use all sorts of displays of power through signs and wonders that serve the lie, and all the ways that the wickedness deceives those who are perishing. They perish because they refuse to love the truth and so be saved. For this reason, God, who? God, one more time, who sends God? For this reason, God sends them a powerful delusion. Who sends the powerful delusion? Can I hear God does and an amen? Why does God send them a powerful delusion? Well, it tells us. So they will believe the lie. What does God want? Them to believe a lie. What does God want? Them to believe a lie. I sound like an activist. And so they will all be condemned who have not believed the truth, but have delighted in wickedness. God here is admitting through Paul, the author of this letter, maybe, who's supposedly inspired by the Holy Spirit to write this. So God sends people delusions so they believe lies. They believe things that are not true. And that they will be condemned. So they can be condemned. God wants them to believe things that are not true. Now they started the process, but he's enforcing it. So they will be condemned and not believe the truth, so they can delight in their wickedness. Satan hasn't claimed any of that type of stuff. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? 2 Thessalonians 2, verse whatever it was. Christians, did you know that? Did you know that? Did? You didn't? And if you ask Orthodox Jews about Satan, they'll tell you Satan's on God's side. He's a messenger. The Satan is a messenger. He's an angel for God. He's somewhat of a devious angel, but he does God's will. He does God's dirty work. Franklin, the part though, the main issue here is that God sends a delusion. So what Franklin's saying, let me steelman the Christian. What Franklin's saying is they've already started out of their own free will to hate God, to believe lies, blah, 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 blah. And so they're just doing what they want to do. And God is just turning up the volume. But that's the key point. God is purposely turning up the volume. He's saying, okay, you want to be this way? I'm going to send you powerful delusions to make you even believe even more lies so you can be condemned because I hate you. I'm steelmanning 2 Thessalonians 2 here. This is what God, through the Holy Spirit, is telling Paul to write. You people, you're sinning, you're doing evil things against me. Oh yeah? You want to do these evil things against me? Let me help you. Let me turn up the volume to 10. This is God. Instead of saying, this God could have said, hey, you're doing these evil things. I mean, let me sit you down and let's discuss this rationally. I'm not going to send you powerful delusions so you believe a lie and so I can condemn you. I want to change your mind. Let's have a conversation. Didn't do that, at least not in this case. Now, the reason a Christian can listen to what I just said and it not impact them, the reason why a Christian can actually agree with me that God has killed more people, even I'd say tortured more people than Satan, deceive people, send them delusions, and they can still be a Christian is because they get something in return. This is not, the scale is, this is badness, this is goodness. I can say all the badness, and it doesn't make a difference to the Christian because they get something in return, and that is eternal life, explanation of morality, why they're here, contentment, peace, hope, these experiences that they've had that they can explain, oh, this was God. This hope that, oh, my life's a mess, but if I just pray hard enough, or if I just pray, God will eventually help me. This is why they keep believing. Or it's also fear. If I actually agree with PineCreek here and say that God really looks like a schmuck in some cases, I mean, I'm scared. They won't come out and say it this way, but they'll say, I fear the Lord. Like, he might smite me. He might take away my job. So now I'm really poor. He might even kill my kids in a car accident because he'll take away the shield of protection. He might lift his hand and just leave me to my own devices, and then I'll just be a mess. I need God to survive. So if I start listening to PineCreek and agreeing with PineCreek, my life's going to be a mess. Christians, you know I'm right, right? At least some of you, this is how you think. If you are a Christian who, that doesn't bother me. I mean, I'm not scared. No, God's not going to smite me. Your odds are you're very wealthy already. You're content. Maybe your kids are even out of the house. I mean, you got it good. But there's a lot of Christians out there who live life in fear, and they need God to help them get through the day. There are Christians who have gone through addiction struggles. They need God to get through the day. They've saddled themselves with all this guilt. The man in charge, why don't you call in? Why don't you have the courage? Why is property a big deal for God? Good question. It really looks like people creating God in their own. Like, that alone should get Christians, Jews, and Muslims thinking. Close your eyes for a second and think, imagine what a big, powerful creator deity would do. Do you really think a creator deity would choose a certain number of people and say, hey, by the way, that land is yours? What is more reasonable? That humans make up stuff that says, a God told us to tell you that land is ours. Or that this creator deity actually cares about real estate for a certain people. A creator deity that could make new real estate on planet Earth. Right? You believe that, Christians, right? And Jews? That if God really wanted to, he could create a huge chunk of land in the middle of the Atlantic or Pacific just for the chosen people, or just for any group of people. But no. He says, go conquer this nation. I will help you. And we'll take this promised land. He can't make other promised lands. It is so incredibly human. If you read the Old Testament and just assume that it has nothing to do with a God and it's just men writing stuff, guess what? All your problems with Old Testament atrocities will go away in an instant. You will read stuff of God commanding the death of the Midianite children, Canaanite children. No, it's just men writing stuff. PineCreek Kitchen, thanks for the donation again, Mom. It's easier to say God did it than develop a moral framework from scratch. Find hope in uncertainty, not fear death. Study abiogenesis, make friends. Good advice. Good points. Yeah. It is much easier to say God did it. Like, how did life come to Earth? How did inorganic create the organic? How did rocks and minerals and sludge and pond scum create us? It's silly, right? God did it. That's so simple. You're taking all the mysteries of life and just saying, poof.
Scientists have determined that the universe was created by God. Big Bang.
Yeah, that's exactly what a lot of Christians do. It's really hard to believe. I used to believe this stuff, and it's really hard to believe me saying stuff like this. Someone can continue to believe. In fact, Tyler Vela, the Christian Calvinist turned, he doesn't call himself an atheist, but Tyler, you basically are. He said this was one of the things that got him to really doubt Christianity. The pettiness of the Old Testament, the pettiness of God. Things like this, that Yahweh would care about a sliver of the Middle East. Like, what is wrong with you? This is screaming human invention. It's literally screaming in your ears, this is human invention. You can, even if you're a Christian, you disagree with me, you can understand how people can see that, right? Like, we're not saying anything crazy here of tribes wanting lands for themselves and saying God told them it's theirs. That's very reasonable that they can just make this stuff up to give them confidence to go conquer. They're lying, Doug. Hey, some of them might be lying, but I would say the vast majority of people around the planet who claim land in the name of their God are not lying. They truly believe it. Like, even take the United States of America. This is a great example. When all the wars the United States has fought in the past, I would say the majority of Americans would say God was on our side, and they truly believed it. I don't think the American public were lying to themselves or to each other. They truly believed the God of the universe was helping the United States military bomb Japan, take over Iraq, kill Hitler. Am I wrong? No, I'm not wrong. I would say most Americans were sincere in that belief. They truly believed it. They weren't lying. They, in my opinion, just were saying something that's not true. And if you came late and you think those are the same thing, rewind. Praise the Lord and pass the ammo. The God of the universe hates the United States. The United States is Sodom and Gomorrah. You know, the Sodom and Gomorrah story is a great story. It's a story of God can be bartered with, bargained down. If there's 40 people, will you destroy Sodom and Gomorrah? For 40? Nah, I'll leave them be. Would you accept 30? 30, 30, 30, 30, 20, 25, 25, 20, right here, 25, 25, 20, 20, 20, 20, 50, 50, 15, 15, 10, 10, 10, 10, God. Yahweh, Yahweh, do I see 10, Yahweh? 10, 10, 10, going once, 10, twice. This is, you can barter, you can bargain with God. Again, like listen, read that story of Sodom and Gomorrah and ask yourself the question, is this something that just is purely human? Or do you think the creator of the universe is now bargaining with people? And Elias, Russians did a good job holding the German army back. I'll give them credit. But Russia needed, the Soviet Union needed the Americans. The world needed the Americans. We were the first ones to develop the nuclear bomb. Not the second, the first. Right? Or are you going to deny that too? Well, technically we had it before the Americans. For those who don't know, Elias is a big Russian supporter, and I like to remind Elias that the state of Arizona, we don't need all 50 states of the Union. The state of Arizona alone could wipe out Russia. In fact, my own city could wipe out Russia. Yeah, I'm not lying. I am not lying. Raytheon's in my city, and we got more military jets than almost every country in the world in my city right now. Thanks, Jared Hanning. If you're good something, never do it for free. Look at that. Donated $10. Didn't even have to say anything. Just put a number 1 there. Yeah. That's my man. He even has a manly name, Jared. That's manly. Although it wasn't the pedophile from Subway named Jared. No, that was with an E. This is with an O. So you're fine, Jared. Hey, the room's open for Theist to call in. Sean McDowell, are you listening? Get your butt in here. Get in here. Sean McDowell. William Lane Craig, get in here. Don't be scared. Frank Turek, instead of just always kowtowing to your followers, take a risk. Get in here. We can have a nice civil conversation. Crossover Maniac, thanks for the donation. When I was a Christian, I imagined that Abraham was haggling God because he realized he couldn't find that many righteous people in Sodom and had to lower the number to have any hope of saving Sodom. Yeah, I think when I was a Christian, I thought the same thing. But you know, it's an interesting story because it shows that the writer actually is disagreeing with God, the morality, the justice of God. It's a fascinating story. But you've heard Jordan Peterson's take on that story, Crossover Maniac, that it has a great moral that it only takes a very small minority of people within a society to make positive change. And this is why you should not be scared to speak up, give your opinions. So it's a lesson to you Christians listening right now. Don't be scared to call in. Even if you feel like you'll be too nervous or you'll make a fool of yourself or misrepresent Christianity. No. The story of Sodom and Gomorrah is if there's just 10 of you in here right now, you can save the whole live stream. Ooh, that's good. This live stream is like Sodom and Gomorrah, but there's 10 righteous in here right now. And God is not going to destroy this live stream because of you. Thank you for what you've done here. I'm just buttering up the Christians right now. Did you hear that Bread of Life Rebecca has blocked all atheists from her channel to have more of an echo chamber? I do not believe that, Floyd. You know why I don't believe that? Because she likes me. I bet you I could email her and say, hey, let's talk, and she would say yes. But maybe I'm wrong. Talk on her channel. But I do think she's shot herself in the foot because any Christian YouTube channel that allows atheists like me and other nice, reasonable atheists, yes, I'm nice and reasonable. Suck it if you disagree. You're shooting yourself in the foot because if other Christians listen and resonate, it's not good. You cause doubt in your Christian followers. See, here's a Christian says, PineCreek, you make a compelling case. See? Suck it if you disagree. Yeah, I'm channeling my inner Emma from Sam Seeger. What's his name? I don't know. Suck it. On what basis having consciousness bad thing? Did anybody say having consciousness is a bad thing? And Jeff, it's stay in school so you can learn to write better. See, I know how to write because my mom learned me real good. She sent me an email of her intentions and has even blocked me. Floyd? She's blocked Floyd? Floyd is the nicest of atheists. If Floyd is blocked, there is no hope for any atheists on the planet. I mean, if you open up the dictionary and look up the word nice, you'll find a picture of Floyd. Nice. See example below. And there's a picture of Floyd in the dictionary. That's how nice he is. But if you look really close with a magnifying glass, you'll see that Floyd is holding a picture of PineCreek. By the way, I'm so old. This is not just a prop. I use this. I use this to read stuff on small bottles. Oh, that's the thing I miss about being young the most is great eyesight. I truly do. It's such a pain to not see well. Evidence of design, right? Xavier.
Hey, PineCreek.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Well.
All right. Even though like I hear you debunking the Bible and these stories and religions contradict each other, I still don't see how that disproves that there's a universal entity that started everything and is just amoral.
Think about what you just said. I don't see how that disproves a amoral entity creating everything. Is that what you said? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you realize how useless that comment is?
A universal presence.
Yeah, but do you understand how a guy like me would just find that as a completely useless waste of time statement? Because what you're saying is there, well, let me ask you, is there a way to falsify this type of amoral entity God?
No.
So
not
what,
yet.
So
not yet.
if we can't falsify it,
one day.
how would we do it one day?
When we have the technology to reach the end of the universe and discover what happens in the afterlife, like we'll know for sure if there are aliens or not, and we'll know for sure if there's an entity or not.
How does aliens help falsify this amoral entity God? How does going to the end of the universe do it? And your last one was, we have to die first?
Now, have the technology to discover, like, okay, what happens after death?
You're getting quiet now, so stay close to the mic.
Okay, how about now?
No, you're still very quiet.
Oh man.
But I can hear you, but just barely.
Yeah, I'll do my best. No, just have the technology to look over the whole universe and reach the end of the universe. Then we know for sure, okay, there's no actual heaven.
Wait a minute. Are you under the impression heaven is in our universe?
I mean, where else would it be?
In a spiritual dimension outside our space and our time.
I mean, that's that sounds like an easy cop-out.
Okay, hang on. Do you believe heaven is within our universe?
If there is one, I mean, there would have to be.
It would have to be.
There has to be a way we can sense it somewhere with the technology.
So do you think God is actually physical?
I don't know. But just the fact that we keep on being religious, even after debunking it, we keep sensing a universal presence.
I don't.
Religious people still do.
Yeah, I think that can be explained using psychology.
Even if you can explain it, we're still religious by design. Like,
We're still religious by design. Crash, bang. Phone drops.
Oh boy.
Some design, right? You're a klutz.
Exactly.
Oh, Xavier. Where did your mother and I go wrong with you?
Intelligent design. Whatever. It doesn't. Okay. The fact that now aliens are more likely because of all the congressional hearings, that increases the chances of maybe what created us was actually aliens. So what we're calling God could be an extraterrestrial universe.
What's that banging in the background? Are you cutting up lines of cocaine or?
That's why I asked the head. No, it's Walmart.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean.
Walmart.
Cocaine. There's a lot of cocaine in Walmart.
Yeah.
Why do you think that it's more likely aliens exist now than, let's say, 10 years ago?
Because of these congressional hearings and these whistleblowers actually going before Congress and giving us technology.
So you believe these whistleblowers when they say that there's actual alien bodies?
Yeah, it's more likely. I'm not saying I believe it yet. It's more likely, and that I think increases the chance of there being a God. Maybe it's a naturalist God that is a universal overseer.
How does
But
the existence of aliens make it more likely there's a God?
because there's life outside of this planet.
How does life outside our planet make it more likely there's a God?
Oh, you have background noise too. Okay. It makes it because what brought life into this planet, what maybe designed this planet to be habitable for life, are these aliens that keep spying on us. And they're spying on us because they created us.
Oh, so the aliens are the God.
Probably. Like a long time ago. They're like, wow, how did they get from dinosaurs to this?
So do you believe that aliens created our existence?
That seems like a very naturalistic explanation for what we
No, but
think
do you
a
believe
God
that?
is. I'm coming closer to that.
Are you over 50% or under 50%? If 100% means certainty.
55, after these hearings, they're literally appearing before Congress.
Appearing before Congress is a good indicator of truth, right?
Russia never appeared before Congress. I mean, the whole Russian collusion thing with Trump.
Okay, I got to try some street epistemology with you. This is because right now I think everything you're saying is nuts. So what's the claim on the table? The claim on the table is you believe it's more likely than not that aliens exist because some people testified in front of Congress.
Yeah.
Is that the claim you're making? And you're 55% confident about it. Now, why do you believe that the people appearing before Congress, that it's actually true that aliens exist? Why do you believe it with this 55% confidence?
They add credibility to the videos, to the videos that have now been declassified by government entities. They add credibility to Area 51. All of these little rumors, it now adds credibility to them. So it's just, for me, increasing the likelihood of it being true, that there is life outside of this planet.
Okay. Now let's do the outsider test for faith. If someone said that they believe or testifies that Islam is true and that the moon actually split in two, and this person is like from India and wrote it down, would you more likely to believe that the moon actually was split in two in history?
No.
But someone's testified that it did.
The moon is still there. But the moon is still there.
No, but it was
That's a falsifiable claim.
No, but it was put back together. No, seriously, this is what Muslims believe.
That's a falsifiable claim.
How would you falsify that?
We can know whether the moon was put back together or not, whether it was split, like plate tectonics.
Plate tectonics?
The science of plate tectonics, we know if something has been separated, apart, put apart, or put back together.
No,
it's not just appearing before Congress.
No, Allah, he split the moon in two and then put it back together like nothing happened. See, there's no way you could say that using plate tectonics.
That's an unfalsifiable claim.
So you just disregard it, right?
Yeah.
But why don't you disregard these alien...
There's video footage.
There's video footage.
There is. Of that pod. And the way it was moving, and it was classified by the government, and now it's declassified, and now we can see it.
Okay.
If there's video footage of the moon being split in half, then you know what? I'll believe it.
If the moon splitting in half was classified by the U.S. government and then unclassified, would you believe the moon was more likely to believe the moon was split in two?
It'll be more likely.
Really? Just from?
Yeah.
Why does unclassifying something make it more likely to be true?
The government classifies it for a reason.
Okay.
Why
What's
would
the
they
reason?
classify- What's the motive behind it? They want to give the impression that that we are safe. If there's life out there, and we find out that means that we're not really safe. They're not really keeping us safe. They want to give us the impression that we're safe. So it's kind of going against their own interests.
Yeah, well, so let's say they classified this information because they didn't want to scare the U.S. Populace and make them panic. So they classified it. But that doesn't mean the U.S. government thinks that there's actual aliens living or have visited us. Right?
Right.
So just because something is classified and then declassified doesn't make whatever is classified or unclassified more likely to be true. Right?
Not in every case, but in some cases it could.
Sure, it could. But now the question is, what reason do we have?
It adds to the credibility, for sure. It adds to the credibility.
It adds to the credibility that it's true?
Yeah.
Even if the reason is not to cause a panic, if that was the reason why it was classified in the first place?
Yeah, the reason will be very important. You would have to know the reason. That would help. If you have video footage, it would help. If you have people...
Do you have the video footage handy? Like, do you know what you're talking... Like, do you have a link for me?
Newsmax. No, I'm sorry. News Nation. News Nation has reported on it, and they've shown parts of that clip.
Is there, like, keywords I should search for?
UAP footage, News Nation. You'll be able to find it.
Okay, I'm going to do it right now. News Nation UAP footage. Okay. I'm going to let you go, and you can watch with me, okay?
Sounds good.
And I'll give you my thoughts. Okay. Let's see if I can find it here. Should I keep my expectations low or high? I don't know. News Nation UAP footage. I just see a bunch of people. Oh, is this it?
It's the creepy video.
Let's see. I think this is what he wants me to look at.
The creepy video that freaked everyone out.
I'm honestly just kind of scared.
The creature was captured back in June on a motion sensor camera outside a home in La Junta, Colorado. Definitely not human, wrote one mystified observer. Lots of people think it looked like Dobby, the beloved elf from the Harry Potter movies.
Dobby is free.
Another theory? It's a skinny kid wearing underwear on his head.
It's a little creepy to be in the driveway after watching this video. We're here right now.
Vivian Gomez owns the house where the video was shot.
Tell me, Xavier, this is not what you wanted me to see. This was what was classified and now unclassified?
I'm honestly just kind of scared.
The creature was captured back in June on a motion sensor camera outside a home in La Junta, Colorado. Definitely.
I have something similar to my own son when he was that age, doing like some weird moves, and I caught him on camera. He was doing some dancing. Xavier, is this what you wanted me to see? Okay. Let me say this as gently as I can. If there's any human in this live stream right now, human, who thinks that this is definitely not human, I mean, be a Christian. I mean, if you're gonna believe this is definitely alien, yeah, Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Hinduism, Mormonism, that's right up your alley. What in the heck is wrong with you guys? Tell me, Xavier, this is not what you wanted me to look at. Okay. Fighter jet? Is it fighter jet footage? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah. Look at that clear picture. Oh, there goes the tic-tac. Oh, we got a dark shape. My goodness. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. This is not extraordinary evidence. What is that? Smiley face? We got some lights in the sky. I mean, if I paid someone even $1,000, they could duplicate this probably in 30 minutes. Ah. What's wrong with people? What is wrong with people? Mick West has some very good analysis on several of these. You know what I think a good analysis of this is? Just the laugh. And that's a powerful analysis. Because that's all it deserves. But anyhow, let me... Mick West. Oh, 29 Palms. I know that place. Oh, this is what we saw earlier. Hang on.
As would be less noticeable. There were some claims that this low-light image showed a triangular craft, but that's really just the color bleed, which you can see around other objects in the scene. The exercise at that a lot of things in the air, including flares. On one of the videos of the event, John found footage of 5 flares that looked very similar. I realized this looked like it was taken from the other side, so I flipped it and overlaid it, and it's a near perfect match. Given the coincidences with date and location, and the fact that these lights look and act like flares, then I think we can safely say that these are the actual flares that were misidentified as a UFO. Illusions that we are.
Yeah. The thing is, like, I don't even have to even go that far. But I guess to explain this to people like Xavier, you got to explain it. But you just, you don't even have to give a specific explanation. You just look at that and say, no, you can't make the conclusion that these are aliens from this. Or extraterrestrial planes or vehicles. I mean, you just laugh. That's the appropriate response. You laugh. But thank you, Mundane Moniker. So Mick West, like 29 Palms, for those of you who don't know, there's a huge military base there. Like there's going to be things in the air at night. Okay, let's get it off aliens. This is just nuts to me. You know how I say with Christianity, light up my water-soaked napkin, take me to a cemetery, raise the dead. The same holds true with these aliens. Show me the physical body of an alien with scientists, open it up to the whole world. Same with the Shroud of Turin. Take carbon dating of the whole or random areas at different depths. Until then, you got nothing, 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 nothing. Get it through your thick skulls, people. Text says, I kind of like Doug. Okay, last chance. If you're a theist, call in. I'm not going to wait for you forever. Got things to do, people to see. It's Thursday already. Tomorrow's Friday. Wow. As you get older, the time goes by faster. Have you learned that lesson yet? When you're young, when you're like 8, 9, 10 years old, the week drags on and on, especially if you're going to school. A year seems like forever. But you young kids, just you wait till you hit 30, 40, 50, 60 years old. Years go by like that. You can plan something a year ahead and it'll feel like a week for you, and then it's there. Thanks, Crossover Maniac. It's the UFO of the gaps. God in the gaps. It's of the gaps, not in the gaps, right? People have to realize that not having an explanation does not mean your explanation. Truth, that's the truth with a capital T. And someone else mentioned that they want to believe. Yeah, it's like, how boring does your life have to be that you want to just desperately believe aliens are real? Like, if your life is so boring, so monotonous that you have to believe this crazy stuff, may I suggest you email me and join my poker nights to give you something to have meaning and hope in your life. And if you're not good at poker, don't worry. We will teach you exactly what you need to know. Just make sure you have lots of money, okay? Yeah. Rebecca is doing the Lord's work by allowing the Holy Spirit to pass over us in our reprobated state, to leave us in that state. Well, Floyd, you know, she's been mistreated by some atheists too. So part of me doesn't blame her. But I think I've been nice to her. I even apologized to her for one thing I said. I think I did. I was really hard on her about the healing stuff, but then later she said that she would never ever tell someone to stop taking medication or going to the hospital, and then I backed off her, and I think I apologized to her, because that's the real issue when it comes to healing. Yeah, I have live chat enabled here, but not here. I don't know. I'm looking at live chat on the screen right now. Last chance to call in and convert me. Last chance to bring me closer to the Lord your God. Last chance to show me the light. Teach me your ways. Last chance to role play as an atheist just for fun. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Electro Live has chastised me. Because Electro Live actually made a good point. And I hate that. Because it was used against me. But I gotta acknowledge it as a good point. How bored do we have to be to talk about Christians and religion all the time and trying to debunk it all? Good point. What am I doing here? Now, I've made the same point myself. You guys know I've told you that. I'm tired of watching Frank Turek and like commenting on the apologists but I still, okay, you're listening to Electro Live, you're a smart guy, I can tell. But the reason why I do it is because I still enjoy having conversations with real humans. And I'm not trying to debunk it all. I would love to get your take on the Barbie movie. I have not seen it, but my son saw it, and he said it was ridiculous. My son's 17. All his friends thought it was great, and he said, it's just a stupid, stupid movie. But my daughter still wants to see it. Hey Doug, I live in Moreno Valley near Scientology complex out by the casinos. Looks like a theme park driving up by it. Yeah, that'd be fun. I walked into the little thing on Hollywood Boulevard they have. And I tried to do some SE on a Scientologist. But I didn't have a lot of time. And the Scientologist lady there was so nice and kind. And then I was thinking of taking the little tour they have in there, but it's basically just a glorification of, what's the Scientologist head guy's name? Bob? Can you imagine having a religion started by a guy named Bob? What's that guy's name? Scientology founder. Hubbard. Ron. It's not Bob, it's Ron. I was close. Hi, we got this great religion. You're going to love it. How did it start? A guy named Ron. I should start a cult. It's not illegal to start a cult. It's not illegal to manipulate people with your mind so they can do your will. So, I think I'm good at that. I think I could manipulate people's minds to do my will. So right now I'm focusing on Gomeo right now, and I'm trying to get him. I'm going to manipulate his mind right now to tell him to type in the live stream chat right now that he loves me. Love. And then I'll chastise him. Because that's what a good cult leader does. Gets them to do his will. And then chastises them for doing it. See? See? Look, worked. He had no free will there. I totally manipulated Gomeo. Do you consider atheism religion? No, I do not, Random. But I do consider parts of secular humanism. It can be religious. And I would also say that just the fact that something is a religion doesn't necessarily make it all bad. Is it illegal to convince someone to harm themselves? There are exceptions, right, on manipulation of words, using words to manipulate people. And that was that girlfriend who told her boyfriend to commit suicide, right? And she was actually found guilty. But if I told, like, Mitesh Patel in the live stream chat to go jump off a cliff right now, and he does, I mean, can I be put in jail? I don't think so. Yeah. Chris Angel set up a cult in Amazon by doing magic tricks in front of isolated tribes. You're describing how Christianity started, how Islam started, how Judaism started, how Almost every religion starts due to ignorance. Almost. Like, do you think Christianity could start today or Islam, if we had no history of it, and then in the year 2023, a guy says, "Hey everyone, I am God." "No, you're not. Get out of here, you crazy man." "No, I am God. Let me do miracles. I can walk on water." "Well, let's see it then, fool." Yeah, and then he gets out of the boat and then he sinks, right? Have you ever covered apologist Brant Pitre? How do you say that? I don't think I have. Let me look him up. Thanks for the donation, though, Cheddar Bay Baby. That's a great name. Cheddar Bay Baby. Brant Pitre. He's a Catholic?
Eden, a kind of new paradise. Number 4, in the first Exodus, the Exodus from Egypt, the
Introduction to the spiritual life? Ugh.
You spend the heart of this book talking about virtues and
he sounds Canadian.
Their opposing vices. In other words, is the catechism saying that we have to grow in the moral life to be able to grow in the spiritual life?
frequently do is, as you're practicing the examination of heart, right? So
heart. Yuck. Philippians 2.
His exhortation to the Philippians to embody the virtue of humility. First, he calls disciples.
See, this is why I don't no longer go to church series anymore, because like what could I possibly say about this stuff?
God, he's used
Philippians is just written by a guy. That's it.
Right? The NRSV does a good job with this. He did not regard equality with God as something to be exploited.
Like, so what? Who cares?
They didn't just son.
The real issue is, why do you think any of this is true to begin with? Why do you think Jesus was God? Why do you think the miracles actually happened? It's like, these Bible studies are just...
Oh, man. Things are different than when I was younger. When I was younger, we were all fighting with the Baptists and fighting with the Protestants and, you know.
Yeah. With the origin of the Bible preview, that could be interesting. Yeah, exactly. The older I get, the more it's just jibber jabber. Like Christians, Muslims, Jews, if you want guys like me to believe, you just have to do something amazing. You have to treat us like an idolatrous nation who requires signs and wonders. Say to our face, God's never going to do that because all you need is the scriptures. And then we say the scriptures are not enough. And then when whatever consequences of that happens, it happens. So be it. Especially if we're not needy and not desperate. It's not going to happen. You're not going to convince a guy like me at this point in my life to take seriously anything in the New Testament or Old Testament or the Quran or the Book of Mormon. Not to say that some things you can't have good moral lessons out of it, but not to seriously think that this has anything to do with a creator God. It's not going to happen unless you do something amazing. Something demonstrable. A demonstration. In other words, I'm asking you to do what you would admit you can't do. Put God in a test tube. I'm asking you to put God in a test tube for me. Like, I think Christians have to admit that was possible at one time. Like, couldn't Jesus pee in a cup? I'm asking for Jesus to pee in a cup, metaphorically speaking. Will I call into the transatlantic today? Isn't that already over? Transatlantic. I think it's over, right? Yeah, it's over. No, hang on. Oh, it starts at 3. It starts in an hour and a half. I don't know. If I do, I got work to do. But if I do, I'll start my political channel stream. By the way, PineCreek Politics, you can subscribe and notify there. So if stuff like this happens, you'll know. But I've said, number one, I don't want, they can't treat me like anybody else. I have to be treated special because of I am PineCreek. I'm not gonna have to wait around. And number two, I've also said that the issue of transgender people is becoming boring. My main things about it is the sports issue and the transitioning issue for minors, and the vast majority of, according to polling data, the vast majority of people in the United States already agree with my stances, so there's no real point to be made. I'll go one more round here. Yeah, PineCreek Politics is my other channel's name, where I talk more political stuff, and a show like this would be more appropriate on that channel. So for those of you who don't know, my stance is, if you're born with a penis, with the ability to make sperm, you should not be in women's sports. If you call yourself a transgender person and you're a teenager and you want to use hormones or surgery to transition, that should be illegal until you're an adult. Those are my main two stances. And then I do think that there should be spaces for biological women where trans women are not allowed. And if that makes trans people sad, so be it. The suicide thing is all about ideation and risk. Actual suicides, the benefits of transitioning to reduce actual suicide, there's no data out there to show that. It's all about the risk goes down. They feel better. It's like saying that if you don't hold a long stick in a lightning storm, your risk of getting struck by lightning goes down. Well, that's true, but your risk of being struck by lightning is low to begin with. In all of the United States, the number of transgender deaths is probably well under 100, probably even under 50. And then you got to ask the question, how do we know they died for the belief in the resurrection? I mean, how do we know they died for the persecution of being trans and not drugs or sex industry or other mental illnesses? And then you got the problem of how you diagnose trans to begin with, because it's all self-reporting. And people can be deluded, people can be mistaken, people can be confused, people can be wrong. There's no test that people of different biases can agree upon which would lead to 99% accuracy that someone's even trans to begin with, rather than just a person who wants to be dressed up in opposite stereotypical clothing. I mean, I could tie half my brain behind my back and talk to these people here. Poof. Thanks for hanging out, guys.